Hey Mirror fam, and welcome to season 5, episode 6 of MiraStar Podcasts. So today I'm with Patricia. So Patricia, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So practically today we're going to be talking about unspoken topics. Unspoken topics are basically topics that are not really spoken much about, but obviously they need to be spoken about more. So are you ready for the first question?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the first question is basically, what are unspoken topics? The first question now, what unspoken topics do you think are not spoken about enough?
Pretty privileged.
Yeah. So it brings us to the first topic. So that's actually pretty privilege. So what is pretty privilege?
I personally feel like pretty privilege is where people, whether it's a boy or a girl, they have more opportunities in life based off if people think they're pretty or not.
Yeah, models and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure people call who Gigi Hadid and Bella Hadid are, right?
Yeah.
People call them the prettiest women on earth just because they're tall, white, skinny models.
Yeah.
So do you think pretty privilege is relevant today?
Yeah, I feel like it's still relevant because as somebody who's in high school, I feel like a lot of girls who are prettier than me get more attention than me and get more they have more they're more popular than me or whatever you want to call it, and they have a lot more friends than me because people feel like, oh, they're pretty, so this or stuff like that. Yeah
because I feel like they're more likely to listen to people who are more physically appealing to look at, if you know what I mean. So how real would you say pretty privilege is? How often would you say it occurs?
Very often.
Right. So how is privilege and pretty privilege different?
I feel like privilege is where you have more opportunities based off just pretty much anything, and pretty privilege is having more opportunities based off your appearance.
All right, fair. So how do you think people can benefit from pretty privilege?
I feel like people can benefit from pretty privilege. The way they can benefit is because they can get away with a lot of things. They can do things that somebody who is, let's just say, I don't have to sugarcoat it, let's just say uglier than them, couldn't really get. I don't know, for example, saying slurs. If somebody who's pretty said a slur, nobody would really care because they're pretty.
Yeah. For example, obviously, as you said, being in school, let's say someone wants to go start a rumor, and obviously they're like, oh, they're good looking, blah blah blah. No one will really care. They're more interested to listen to the rumor they have to say because they're pretty. But if it's someone who's not really seen to be as pretty, people are like, oh, why are you spreading rumors? All you do is gossip, blah 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 blah, and all that kind of thing. Right. So I'm gonna give you this. I'm just gonna say a statement and tell me if you agree. So this is a statement. Pretty people hold the key to a door of opportunities. Wait, let me shine it. So basically, pretty people have more opportunities, connections, and choices, but for other people, it's short. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Why?
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like I agree mostly because when it comes to being pretty, for example, let's say you applied to be a model, right, and you're pretty, everyone thinks you're pretty, you're obviously gonna get the job or whatever it is. But let's say somebody who's uglier than that person tries to apply for something that's got to do with modeling, they might just get turned down just because they don't fit the criteria of what they're looking for.
Yeah. Nowadays, but I feel like nowadays when it comes to modeling, I think it's slightly improved. For example, I'll be walking past, I'll be seeing more diverse people. I'll be seeing some people with vitiligo. I mean, see some people with people like albinos. I'll be seeing tall people, short people, all that kind of stuff. So it's more it's better now, but obviously it's not always better. So have you ever witnessed pretty privilege right in front of your face?
Yeah, I have.
So where do you see pretty privilege the most? Like acting industries, music industries, school, jobs, work. Where do you see it?
I feel like I see it more in acting industry because when actors who are classed as pretty and stuff like that, and they do something wrong, they kind of just get away with it. Mostly because they're pretty.
Yeah, that's true. Can you think of any examples of that? Right. So, Patricia.
Hello.
Hi. Right. So this is the last question on pretty privilege. So, do you think pretty privilege overall is talking about enough?
Pardon?
Do you think pretty privilege is talking about enough?
No.
Me neither. I feel like we need to speak about it more because, like, it actually happens so much, you know. We just don't talk about it. Like, it genuinely happens all the time. We don't talk about it. Right. So the next theme is derealization. Right. So the first question relating to derealization is, what is derealization?
Derealization is feeling like the world around you isn't real and feeling like you're outside of your own body and stuff like that.
Yeah. So what do you think are the effects of it? Like, how would it feel? Basically what you said. How would it feel?
I feel like it feels like when you just hit rock bottom and
Yeah.
you just feel like nothing around you is actually real. It's all artificial and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it feels surreal. Like it's just depending on how long you've lived, you're like, oh, I've lived for this long, and all of a sudden nothing feels real. You know what I mean? It feels like a simulation. So, what is depersonalization? So similar to derealization. So what's depersonalization?
I feel like depersonalization is like where you feel like you're no longer yourself. If you get what I mean.
Like you don't feel you.
Yeah, you don't feel like yourself. You feel like you're outside of your own body, which is similar to derealization, but yeah.
So now what is the difference between depersonalization and derealization? What's the difference?
The difference is that the personalization is feeling like you're outside of yourself and that you're not yourself, that you're a different person. And the realization is feeling like everything around you is not real. That's the difference between them.
Right. Yeah, basically. So like derealization is like linking to more the world around you, like how things look and how things feel. And then depersonalization is like you yourself and how you feel about yourself and how it doesn't really feel normal. So do you think derealization is not spoken about enough?
I don't feel like it's spoken about enough.
Do you think it needs to be spoken about more?
Yeah.
Lovely. Right. So the next theme is attachment issues. So what are attachment issues?
I feel like attachment issues is when you meet somebody and you feel this type of link towards them and you just can't really let it go. Like you just feel like that person's a part of your world and a part of you, and if you lose them, it's just gonna, you're not gonna feel like yourself anymore.
Yeah. Like, let's say you lose them, you feel like a chunk of you's gone.
Yeah.
So, do you think having attachment issues means you're clingy?
I feel like in some situations, yes, but it just depends on what the situation is, really.
Okay, first. So, what do you think causes people to be attached?
I feel like what causes people to be attached is that when they get to a certain point with somebody, they just feel like, oh, that person is my world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because I feel like, what's it called? I feel like if you meet someone for the first time that's like really similar to you or that you really like them, obviously you're going to be really attached to them. And then obviously, let's say you lose them or you come into an argument, obviously sometimes you might appear as very clingy to them, as in you feel like you still need them or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
So the next question is, how do you think being attached stops people from letting go of someone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How, how do you think being attached stops people from letting go of someone?
I feel like being attached stops people from letting go of someone, mainly because once you've got that person in your life, you feel like that person is like that person. I've met my actual somebody. I've met my soulmate. I feel like once you get to that point in life, or once you get to that point with somebody, it's kind of hard to let go because you feel like that person is my world. That person is like, if I don't have them, what am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna function?
Yeah. So, how can attachment issues affect the trust you have in people?
I feel like attachment issues can affect the trust you have with somebody because it's like they could just be acting off their attachment with you, and they might not. Let's say you get into a deep conversation, they might not be saying the truth. It might just be the attachment issues speaking. It might not actually be them.
Because what's it called? I feel like, let's say you have a trust in someone you're really attached to, you're most likely to tell them basically everything about everyone. And let's say one day, like, you don't, like, they're that person you vent to always. If you have an issue, they'll always be the first person you come to. And let's say that first day you lose that attachment with them and you're no longer in contact with them, obviously it makes you feel isolated. You get me? Like, you feel like you have no one else to speak to, and that's a feeling no one should ever have to go through. Do you think attachment issues can make people appear more dependent on other people? Like, they always depend on someone else.
Yeah. I feel like when you have attachment issues, you feel like because that person is in my life and a better person or a better version of myself, like, they're my main. And I feel like some people need to work on that because you should always be dependent on yourself. Yes, it's okay to have good relationships with people, but you should never be so dependent on somebody that when you lose them, you just go to rock bottom.
Yeah, like, it's like, it's something that happens like commonly between other people, but once you realize to get out of that, it's like mentally helpful, I guess. Very helpful. So what are some challenges people with attachment issues might face whilst trying to build a new relationship?
I feel like the challenges they might face could possibly be like being seen as very clingy and being seen as very like childish. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like if they're trying to build a relationship with a new person, like, I feel like they'll still be thinking of that previous person.
Yeah.
Like, they'll expect the new person to be like the old person, and
Like
it won't
completely
be very balanced.
Yeah.
So do you think attachment issues are something that can like be cured, or just resolved, like, or resolved completely, or something you just have to manage with throughout your whole life?
I feel like it depends on the person, but generally I feel like it can be solved. Some people just need closure once they lose somebody. Like, they just need closure. They just need like that assurance that that person is no longer in my life and I can move on.
Yeah. So do you see positives with being attached?
Some positives could be that that person knows for sure that you're never. It's kind of iffy because it could be that that person knows that, oh, that person's there for me, I'm there for them. Like, it's a win-win relationship, but like having just attachment issues is kind of a negative, mostly because being clingy is like not really a thing people really want in a relationship, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. I feel like it has its good parts, but also like bad parts, because obviously it's like temporarily good. Like, while you're attached to the person, like while you're having a good relationship with the person, obviously you're going to be very happy, like, oh, I have someone to speak to all the time, I have someone to talk to all the time, if you get what I mean. But let's say after all of that, it's still going to leave like an effect. Like, attachment issues is basically like a scar you can't remove.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's like. So, do you think attachment issues are not spoken about enough?
I feel like they are spoken about enough, but they're just seen as a negative thing through and through, and it's like nobody talks about how it affects people who actually have attachment issues. They just talk about how, oh, people with attachment issues are this.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'd agree. I'd agree. Like people see it more as like a negative thing to talk about, but obviously like, it's helpful to talk about because not many people actually realize it. But it does get spoken about like a decent amount. Um,
yeah,
right. So the next topic on this is going to be social. I've already done like an episode on social media, so I won't ask many questions on this. So, how do you think social media changes people? You say,
changes are really great things.
how does social media change people?
I feel like it changes people because people see, like, I feel like it's sometimes the beauty standard for boys
Yeah,
and girls. Because I feel like when it comes to girls, it's like, oh, this girl looks like this, or this girl is mainly everybody's type, and they feel like, oh, I have to look like that. And then for some boys, it's like, oh, girls don't like boys that do this, girls don't like boys that do that. It's like it's very like debatable when it comes to the way social media changes people. It's just that it's just such a big influence, but it's not. I just don't feel like it's supposed to be that big because as teenagers, it's like we should just be able to feel comfortable in our own skin and not feel like we have to change for somebody else and for other people to accept them.
yeah. I feel like that's something social media does a lot. Like you will see someone, you will see something, and social media changes your whole perspective on a person. Like
Yeah,
when it comes to life, right? You have your social life and your family life.
mm-hmm.
And social media has came to a point where your social life is basically your school life. Your social life is your friends, you chat with your friends, and then you go and chat with your friends on social media. School is
Yeah,
practically social. It's no longer educational. School is social.
yeah,
So I feel like social media, like, it really just changes your life once you turn a certain age. And it's obviously good to keep it to being 13 and over. But anyways, what do you think are the bad aspects of being a celebrity?
I feel like the bad aspect of being a celebrity is that you have to kind of live up to what everybody else wants you to be. Like, no,
Yeah.
obviously not everybody's gonna like you, but as a celebrity, there's a lot of pressure, and it's like people expect you to handle things very well and very professionally. But it's like at the end of the day, everybody's human, and celebrities are no different to any other people on earth.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, especially with this whole cancel culture thing, I'm pretty sure I made another episode on that like ages ago. But celebrities are expected to like care.
Yeah,
Like, I'm telling you now, most of the things they're sponsoring, promoting, saying, "Oh, guys, do this, do that." Oh, I'm sorry for doing. They don't care. I tell you now, they
yeah, I'm
don't
not
care.
gonna lie, they don't care.
They don't care because at the
Yeah,
end of the day, they're still making their money. They're still making their bag. They're still paying their rent. They don't even need to
yeah,
do rent. They bought their houses. They have 5. They don't care. Like, I'm telling you, celebrities, they don't care, and they're being forced to care.
yeah.
Like, have you seen Travis Scott apology video? The guy
No,
does not care. Because I'm
the
telling you
guy
now,
did not care.
he did not care. I'm telling you now, he probably made lots of money from that concert. Obviously, it was a
Yeah,
very sad concert, but like him himself, I don't know if he really cares. Obviously, it's not up to me to really talk. I'm not really interested. But all I know is personally, it really didn't look like he cared enough when he should have cared.
yeah. He just felt like, oh, if I make this, I can go back to making my music and stuff like that.
Yeah, like no one's bothering me because no one really talks about it anymore. Like the whole concert, because it's moved on. He made his apology, gone back to his albums and his money making and his concerts. So
Yeah,
simple cycle. Don't like that.
yeah.
Um, how does it feel to, feel alone while being surrounded by others?
Pardon?
How does it feel to feel alone while being surrounded with others? Basically, what I mean by that is, let's say, like obviously you have your group of friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say just because you have a group of friends surrounding you, that doesn't stop you from feeling alone inside. Just because you have people around you doesn't mean you're not alone. you still will feel alone, if you know what I mean. As
Yeah.
close as the friends are to you, you'll always feel that inner like loneliness inside of you. So, what's it called? How does it feel to feel alone while being surrounded by others?
I feel like the way it feels to feel alone when you're around your friends and stuff like that, it just feels kind of like you just feel kind of out of the ordinary. You just feel like you're the odd one out because like when everyone's just around you having fun and you're just there and you feel like, oh, I don't belong here, it's kind of an isolating feeling. It's not an enjoyable feeling. And
Yeah.
I just feel like it just makes you feel like, oh, I'm just being the odd one out and I'm just doing this, that, and the third. So,
Yeah. And obviously, like, even with being surrounded by people and you still feel alone, that's obviously hard to like overcome because you still got people. It's just hard to convince yourself that you're not alone. If you know
yeah.
what I mean. So do you think social media has a positive or a negative impact on society?
I feel like it's both because social media can like educate you on certain things, but at the end of the day, it can always do like damage to your mental health and your self-esteem.
Yeah, that's very true. And do you think social media is not spoken about enough?
I feel like it's spoken about a fair amount, but it just doesn't. People don't really talk about the effects it has on teenagers and stuff. Not even teenagers only, like adults as well.
Yeah, I would agree. It is spoken about enough, but the thing is, it gets spoken about on social media.
Yeah,
Like, people will talk about social media and how it's bad on social media.
media. Yeah,
It's it's hypocrisy. Like,
hypocrisy. Yep,
it's
hypocrisy.
just
Yeah,
weird. Like, how are you gonna be posting about how social media is bad, all of this, all of that, on social media?
like it just doesn't
Like,
make sense.
that does
No,
not
it doesn't
make
make
sense.
sense.
Like, I guess it makes sense in a small way because the same people that are watching social media will see the video because they're on social media. But it's just
Yeah,
a bit like the people that always are like, oh, social media is bad, they'll always do it on social media. They never do it in real life. But
yeah,
yeah. So the next themes is reality. Do you think everything has a reason?
yeah. I feel like everyone has a reason, but some of the reasons are just better left unspoken because yeah, it just depends on the situation. To be fair.
Yeah, I'd agree completely. Do you think zoning out is comfortable?
I feel like it is comfortable because it kind of just allows you to gather your thoughts and it's just a time where it's like, yeah, I'm in the situation, but why am I in the situation and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you think people who are hurt tend to hide their own hurt by hurting people around them to get rid of their own
Yeah,
pain? How so? Like,
I
is it
feel
something that
like
happens often, or?
I feel like it is something that happens often. It kind of links to the topic of bullying because it's like people who have been hurt, they tend to hurt other people.
Yeah, that's. Do you think maturing doesn't have an age, but maturing is just built off of trauma and experience?
Yeah,
Explain. Elaborate.
I feel like it is built off trauma because you can mature at any age. Like there's
Yeah,
people who had to do mature things at a very young age.
that's very true. Um, like, what's it called? Um, wait, what did I even say? I forgot what I said. Oh, because basically, yeah, what's it called? As you said, like age, like obviously people always say, oh, age is just a number. Age is not just a number, but like obviously as you get older, you will like see and unlock more things. But obviously people do different things at different ages. How am I seeing people who are my age are not as mature compared to people who are 5 years younger than me?
Yeah, that's embarrassing. I'm not gonna
This
lie.
like that's weird. But yeah, why do you think people may feel alone? Oh, that's the same question I just said. Do you think eyes talk, and how?
Eyes.
Yeah,
Do I think eyes talk?
yeah,
I feel like eyes do talk because the way somebody looks at you, or like, it kind of comes down to body language. Because the way somebody acts, like, you don't even have to say anything, you can just kind of tell what they're feeling or what they're trying to say by the way they're
yeah,
moving, or by the way they're looking at you, stuff like that.
yeah. Like eyes probably speak for your mouth. Like just thinking of it. Eyes
Yeah.
probably speak before your mouth. Because let's say you're walking and then you approach someone and then they'll just give you like a look. Like the way they look at you depends on if they want to speak to you or not, or how they feel about the conversation they're having. If they're giving me this one dirty side eye, then it just looks like they don't want to talk to you. But obviously, like, I don't know, it's look normal. It's just they were normal. I don't know. So do you think money can buy happiness?
I feel like it depends on the situation, to be fair. Because you
It's
can
actually,
buy things that make you happy, but at the end of the day, everything you buy is temporary. So,
yeah,
well, everything is temporary, but you get the gist.
everything's temporary. Like it can buy you happiness, but it can't buy you permanent happiness. You're not gonna be happy forever. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna get that money. Then let's say something happens, you're gonna be sad again. You're back to level one. If you know,
Yeah, back to square one. Yeah.
like you can buy yourself a Lamborghini truck. You can buy yourself a Porsche, buy yourself some food. But at the end of the day, you're still gonna be grieving over that thing because you can buy happiness, but you can't buy that thing back. If you know what I mean. So yeah, do you think? So yeah, what are your opinions on cutting off your own friend for the opposite gender? This is something Baron suggested.
I feel like personally it depends on whether I class you as a friend, but at the end of the day, I would never really cut off people that I really call my friends for mine, because it's like they've been there for me since day one, and I'm gonna cut them off for a guy that just popped up out of the blue. Like, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, like it's just weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's it called? So now I'm gonna ask you. So do you think stereotypes are not spoken about enough?
They're not spoken about enough. They're just joked about, and it's not really a beneficial way to, discuss it.
So would you where often do you see stereotypes? Like how often do they happen? Like acting, school, work, job. Where do you think it happens the most?
I wouldn't say the most, but I would normally see it like in acting. Like, they'll cast people for roles where they have to act like a different race or a different ethnicity, and it's just kind of a mockery of that group. So it's just, yeah, I normally mainly see it in acting and stuff like that.
Fair, fair. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna mention some. I'm gonna mention some gendered stereotypes to you, including boys and girls, men and women, all that kind of stuff. And tell me your opinions on it. Do you agree? What do you think of it? Do you think it's normal? It's fine? So the first one is boys don't cry, and they're supposed to be men. What's your opinion on that?
I feel like anybody can cry because crying is a normal human thing to do. I don't think it's that, oh, boys can't cry, because it's just like, that's so strange. Because at the end of the day, Jesus cried. So
Yeah,
it's not really a beneficial thing to say that boys shouldn't cry and that they should man no, because then you should just say the exact same thing to women.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, I really don't like. If you have like the whole thing of man up, be a man. It's like to be a man has to know their own emotions. How can you be a man if you don't
Yeah.
know yourself and if you can't express
Yeah.
yourself? How can you express manlyhood if you can't express your own childhood? Like, you cried as a baby, you're gonna cry as a child, you're gonna cry as a teenager, and you're gonna cry as an adult. Simple as.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that you're always gonna be able to do. Like, cry all day. Like, there's nothing wrong with crying.
Yeah.
Be crying, cry well.
I feel like the whole
What's it?
concept is just kind of outdated, and it's like at the end of the day, everyone's gonna cry.
Yeah.
We came out the room crying, so that's just how life is.
Yeah. So, what's it called? So, I'm gonna tell you another one. So, girls are sensitive. All girls are overly sensitive. Would you agree?
I feel like that stereotype is just kind of, as well as the other one, outdated, because it's just like at the end of the day, yes, some women are overly sensitive, but that's just based off how they've lived their life and the things they've gone through.
I'd agree.
But it's like, it's kind of weird to just turn around and say, oh, all women are sensitive, because really and truly we're not. And trust me, I know, because I used to be very sensitive. Everybody knows that, but we move. But I just feel like it's a thing where just labeling somebody as sensitive is just so like strange and abnormal, because at the end of the day, everybody's their own person. Everybody's gonna cry, be sad, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And at the end of the day, it's never really anybody else's business, to be fair.
Yeah, like, I don't know what other people are complaining about. Because it's probably like, because like, what's it called? As girls, I'm not a girl myself, so I wouldn't really be able to talk. Because I don't know, I'm not a girl. But obviously, like, from what I've seen, younger girls, they like get mistreated, like by boys or their peers. Like, oh, you're a girl, you can't do this, or you're a girl this, or you're a girl that. Obviously, that might emotionally affect them to build them into a more sensitive person. Like, the smallest words could always hurt. But it just depends who you are. I don't know. It depends on your past experiences, what you've gone through. It really depends on the person, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right, so now I'm going to ask you some of, like, culture, like race and all that kind of thing. Yeah. So the first stereotype is black women are angry. Like, this whole angry black woman, Shaniqua, Cheeto girl, all that kind of thing. What's your opinion on
that? My opinions on that is that I feel like the whole black women are aggressive. It's just such an dated, random kind of like stereotype. At the end of the day, I wouldn't say every black woman is aggressive. Like, there's the odd aggressive black woman, but it's like, personally, I'm not aggressive. It just depends on the situation. But,
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of controversial, but at the end of the day, it's just weird to label every black woman as aggressive. And it's kind of, it depends on who it's coming from, but it is kind of racist, to be fair.
True. And they're trying to associate, like, being ghetto with black people. One thing I've noticed here, especially where we go to school, let's say they just see just normal black people everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, not loud or anything, just calm, normal black people. They'll just see a group of black people, all of a sudden it's ghetto. Do they know what ghetto is? That is not ghetto.
Not ghetto.
That is just black people. Have you never seen black people before? That is not ghetto. Like, what? If you don't know what ghetto really means, then just don't use the word at all, because it makes yourself look silly.
You just look
I don't know about ghetto. Right. So the next one is poor people are lazy. Like, oh, you're poor, just go buy a house, or you're poor, just go get a job. What's your opinion on that?
My opinion is that poor people are not lazy. It's generally a case of, like, certain things in your life will just get you to hit rock bottom, and it's just like, sometimes it's just not a lot you can do when you've hit rock bottom to that point. But it just kind of depends on your situation, to be fair. But in general, I don't think they're lazy. I feel like if you've gone through a lot and you've really hit rock bottom, then that's just that. You're gonna have to try and get your way out of it. But at the end of the day, it's just a case of how you got into that situation and if there's a solution for you to get out of it.
Yeah, I'd agree that. I wouldn't consider poor people to be lazy. I mean, yeah, poor people to be lazy because, first of all, it's not necessary. Like, obviously, you can never really judge someone because you never know what the person is going through. Everyone has different stories. So you can't just come up and see a poor person and be like, oh, you're lazy. Oh, come and get a job. Oh, you're broke, buy a house. It's not possible.
It's not possible. It doesn't make sense.
Like, this is not Monopoly. It doesn't work like that. Right. The next stereotype. The whole dumb blonde stereotype.
Mm.
Yeah. But what do you think?
I feel like personally, I know a lot of blondes and they're not dumb. I feel like it's so random. I don't know where it originated from. It's just kind of random.
It actually originated from, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Basically, she was an actor and she was blonde, of course. And she'd always, like, have a role of the unintelligent, passive, submissive. Like, she just let everything slide. She was not really the smartest. She didn't really care. She was very laid back. And, like, I think it started, like, back in the 1950s with Marilyn Monroe. That's what it says. But, yeah. The next stereotype. Rich people are heartless.
No, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't really believe that.
I feel like it's depends on who you talk about. Because I feel like once you're rich, then you just certain people get into that self-absorbed mindset. But I don't feel like all rich people are heartless. Because it's at the end of the day, there's people who give out their money, there's people who help the homeless and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of an outdated term. I just don't like them terms where it's just generalized and it just includes every group of people.
Like, one person in your group will do something, all of a sudden, oh, all of you guys are this, all of you guys are always talking about this, all you guys are always asking questions like this, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right, so wait, what did I just say? What question did I just ask you?
Rich people are heartless.
Oh yeah, I feel like people need to cling off of this whole idea that nobody owes you anything.
Yeah.
Like, nobody, like, I'm telling you now, I'm not gonna say rich people don't have to share, but they don't owe you anything. I'm telling you now, they don't owe you anything. Don't expect something.
Because if that was you wouldn't go around dashing your money to people because that's your money.
Yeah, like, I don't need to lie. Obviously, I'll still give it. Like, but just don't expect everyone to have it. Like, I'm not Barclays. I'm not Lloyd's Bank. I'm not Halifax. But, like, obviously, I'd still give it. Like, I'm not going to be insensitive about what people's going through. But it's just that people always think, oh, you're rich, send me money. If you know what I mean. It doesn't always work like that. Sometimes it can work like that if you're Mr. Beast, but not everyone's Mr. Beast. Not everyone is philanthropists, and it's not going to work like that.
Yeah.
The next one. All police are racist.
I don't feel like all police are racist, to be fair, because I've stumbled upon a few police, and they're not racist. Not that I know of, anyway. Like, I feel like the whole police are racist thing kind of came from the whole, like, Black Lives Matter situation in 2019, I think it was.
It was 2020.
Yeah. And it's just kind of, I don't really know.
It's just like, it's so spontaneous. Like, it just came out of, it's happened many times, like the same police brutality thing. It's not happened once. It's not happened twice. It's not happened 100 times. It's happened more than that. Obviously, it's happened many times. But as you said before, the whole generalizing is not needed.
Yeah.
Like, you can say a selective few are, but not everyone. Like, it's not really fair to blame everyone.
Even the fact that some police are people of color, so why would they be racist? Is the case, so
it wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Alright, so next one. Blue things belong to boys and pink things belong to girls. What do you think about that?
Wow. I feel like that's, again, another outdated, like, term. idea, whatever you want to call it. I just feel like anybody can like any color because it's really never that deep. Like you do see boys who, just boys in general, you do see boys wearing colors that aren't blue. You do see boys wearing certain shades of pink and stuff, wearing certain shades of blue. At the end of the day, it's like that. It's just so random. Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Because at the end of the day, it's a case of what you like and what you prefer. It's not a case of, oh, because I'm a boy I gotta do this, because I'm a girl I gotta do this. Like, no, it's just a case of be who you wanna be, do what you wanna do.
Yeah, I feel like it's fine when it's like a gender reveal. Like obviously it has to be like 2 colors for these trees.
Yeah.
It's fine when it's a gender reveal or something like that. But as you get older, you need to like let go of this whole concept that you can't wear a certain color.
Yeah.
Like this is not like the past. I'm confused.
This is not the 1980s. Come on.
This is not 1980s. Come on now. And I feel like the thing is, nowadays, I see more girls wearing blue than I see boys wearing pink. I rarely ever see boys wear pink. When is the last time we've ever seen a boy wear a neon pink outfit, except from prom, where they want to wear something flashy?
Yeah.
Like, pink is like an interesting color for boys. Like, it's flashy.
Yeah.
Like, it's something you wouldn't expect. But blue for girls is like, it's casual. Like,
it's just normal. Yeah.
It's normal. Next one. So what about this whole girls can play with Barbies, boys play with cars and trucks, all that kind of thing?
I feel like personally, me growing up, I played with Barbies. I never played with cars. That was never really in my interest or whatever. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's like kids are gonna do what they want to do. So, like, I feel like it all comes down to how you were raised and how you grew up. Because if you grew up in a family where it's like, oh, you can only play with Barbies, you can only play with cars, whatever you want to call it, like, obviously you're gonna grow up to think, oh, boys can only do this, girls can only do this, obviously. But it all comes down to like how you view it in yourself. Because yes, your parents raised you, but at the end of the day, when you grow up, you have your own mindset, you have your own person. So it's like, yeah, pretty much.
Like for example, me, I've always grown up like playing with like cars and all that kind of thing. I was never really interested in Barbies. Even now, I'm not interested in Barbies. But obviously that interlinks with the way I've been brought up. I've never played with Barbies. I've not done all that. But yeah, right.
Yeah,
what about women can't play sports?
Oh.
Or girls even, because it's very frequent.
Personally, I know a lot of girls who are very athletic and can really do sports. I feel like it's all comes down to the whole stereotype, oh, women should stay at home, look after kids, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. But I feel like women have evolved to a certain point.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, we can do things that men can do. Because before this time, we were restricted to like small things like, oh, stay at home, look after the kids, wash dishes, blah blah blah. But it's just a case of, it's just generally a case of, again, how you were brought up and just the influences you have in your life.
I'd agree. Because even like obviously in school, this is mainly in school because obviously girl, boy, you're younger.
Yeah.
People would always be like, oh, girls can't play football. Oh, girls can't do this. Oh, girls can't run. Oh, all the girls are slow. All the girls get below 2.5. All the girls can't do this. And it happens all the time. It even happens online. It happens yesterday. It can happen today. It happens literally all the time. I try my best not to involve in those kind of combos because I do sports myself. I've seen girls do sports. I know girls can do sports. I know they're capable of doing sports. I know girls can do sports way better than the same people that say girls can't do sports. And it's embarrassing.
Oh.
So, yeah, like, it's saying girls can't do this, girls can't do that. It's not a good look. Especially when you're going to try and body shame girls saying, oh, you look like this. Like, I'm gonna be I'm not gonna be that direct, but I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, they'll be trying to direct to a certain person. Oh, girls, who's the least this? Oh, girls, who's the most like biggest or smallest? They know who they expect people to say. They know exactly what they're doing. And it's not nice, it's not cute, it's not good look, fam.
I feel like it's kind of degrading because this is a point I will preach to the day I die. How can you enter this? How can a woman bring you into this world, but you proceed to disrespect women? I just don't understand it. I just can't fathom it sometimes. I just don't get it.
It's so strange. I remember when Tupac said it himself, how are you gonna shame a woman when not a woman faced? It's just funky, like it's just weird.
It's just weird. Because I get it, yeah. Like some people don't intentionally mean it to disrespect women, but it's like if your mum saw the way you talk about girls, you'd be on a you'll be sent back to your home country, and you know you would.
You'll go and do work. You'll be working on the farms, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate the people who say I get involved in those things. Because I'm telling you now, I don't. Yeah. Anyways. Next theme. Only girls can cook.
Oh, no. I have... my dad cooks. Just to tell you guys now, my dad cooks. So, that right there just says a lot. Men can cook, and that's the end of it.
Cause, what about girls can't have short hair and boys can't have long hair?
Boys can have long hair. I know a lot of boys with long hair.
Oof.
I know a lot of girls with short hair. So it just, I feel like I don't like how they associate having short hair being a lesbian. I don't like how they associate, oh, you have long hair, so you're this. It's like hair is really never that deep. Do what you want with your hair, do what you like. It's really never that deep.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't like how people like to do stuff like that.
Like, it just sounds weird. Like, come on now. Like, all of these stereotypes I'm mentioning are all links with maturity.
Yeah.
That's the overall topic. It's maturity. Like, if you're still saying things like girls can't do sports, you can't have long hair, you can't have short hair, who are you?
Honestly, who are you?
Who are you? Get out.
Get out.
Like, you're not mature if you're saying all of these things. Grow up. Like,
honestly.
Next one. I think this will probably be the last one. Girls can't fight.
Me personally, I know a lot of girls who can fight. And that's why I don't play with a lot of girls, because they can fight. So I'm just gonna say down, hands down, a lot of girls I know can fight. I wouldn't say a lot of girls in our school, but a lot of girls I know personally can fight. So it's just kind of strange to me how people will be like, oh, girls can't defend themselves. I feel like me personally, if somebody's just gonna hit me, because me personally, like when it comes down to stuff like, oh, people are hitting me or whatever, I'll just leave it at that, because I know if I retaliate, it's gonna become a whole thing. That's why I just let my words speak and leave my actions as it is. Because if I now hit you, I'll be the one in trouble. So I just leave it at that.
And like, what's it called? Because people be like, oh, all girls do is hair pulling. That does not count, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Would you consider hair pulling as fighting?
No.
I don't think it's fighting.
Why are you dragging on somebody's hair follicles? I don't understand. Not making sense.
Hair follicles. Like, I don't know if you're trying to leave a bald spot or actual punch.
I don't know what you tried to do.
What if we all just like, keep it peaceful, you get it? Right. In fact, this one just came in my head, but I think it flew out my head again. Oh. Anyways, what's it? Oh yeah. One thing that people say is boys get weird after 11 p.m. and girls get weird when they're on their little cycle. What do you think that's true? Do you think that's like actually?
I feel like the whole 11 p.m. thing. I'm just gonna say this now. It does happen to a lot of girls I know. Like, not only to boys. I know it does happen to certain boys. I mean, I'm not a boy, so I don't really know how that works. But I just feel like some boys will get a bit, you know what I mean?
Bit excited
around like nighttime, I guess, because I don't really know why. I'm not a boy, so at the end of the day, I'm not a boy. I don't know how that works.
Basically,
okay. All right.
basically, I think it's just like you gain more confidence at nighttime.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you can say or do the most outrageous thing, and then only deep what you said the next morning when you wake up.
Yeah. I
It's
feel like
it's basically
it
being.
just kind of reminds me of how people they get robbed at night because nobody's gonna catch you. Like if you rob somebody at night, nobody's gonna catch you. But if you rob somebody in the daylight, you're gonna get caught. So it's like,
Like no one's really gonna do anything about it, if you know what I mean. Like live, laugh, love. Let me move on.
mm-hmm.
Right. That's all the questions I've got for today. I cut it short because I didn't really have that much questions. The last question that I asked you about stereotypes, those are all things I just found now. They weren't planned. Yeah, I just wanted to extend it because you told me to shorten it, so I extended it. But yeah, how was it?
Good. That was a very nice talk.
Oh, fine.
I'm tired. I stretch. It was a very nice talk. A very interesting talk.
Yeah, now I need to get all of this edited and it'll be posted the same day. Yeah. In every episode, I have a quote, and all quotes are made by me. Can I get a round of applause, please? Yeah. And actually, I just clocked, basically, this is my last season.
Why?
Because I've been doing this for like 2 years.
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? I forgot about that. You have.
Yeah. I remember when I actually like ages ago, like a year ago. But no, about two, like, yeah, about a year ago. Yeah. So you're actually the last guest of this is the last normal episode. The next 3 episodes that are about to come up are like special type of episodes, like game episodes with loads of people.
Oh yeah.
But you're the last actual normal talk question and answer episode. So well done. And the episode 10 will be something else special. Right.
Yeah.
So the quote for season 5, episode 6 of MiraStar Podcasts is, "Unspoken topics are a token to the outspoken."
Oh.
I'm proud of myself.
I see you.
I'm proud of myself. I did that.
Yeah, not putting forth on the back.
In fact, let me repeat for the ones at the back. So the quote for season 5, episode 6 of MiraStar Podcasts is, "Unspoken topics are a token to the outspoken." Okay. Now let's analyze it. So unspoken topics, obviously those are things that are not spoken about. And a token, it's like a pass, like a key to the outspoken. People who are outspoken are people who are like, get overridden. Like, they try to speak, but they're not really listened to. They'll always state their own opinion, even if they're shocking or controversial opinions.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they did that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. If you did, don't forget to follow the podcast. And I'll see you guys in the next podcast episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.